Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create the lower half of the ankle brace, the actual brace itself. So here we have the SOLIDWORKS design of the two halves. So it first starts with the sketch. From here, you're going to want to create this figure starting from this line and overall just estimating some curvatures. Here, let me go to see these. Okay, so these are a few dimensions that you're going to want to include for your sketch, making sure that your units are in IPS. That's really important. It's okay. From the sketch, I just extruded. Let's go to the extrusion part. I extruded that whole section. As you can see, it looks like I don't know what to call this, but it's a big design. So I just extruded that by 5 inches. The length of the extrusion doesn't really matter because we're going to be cutting it in half later on. From there, I made sure to fillet the different parts. Let's see, I delayed edge one, which was the edge back here. I filleted just around this edge here, this edge up here, making sure that in the future, going forward, the brace itself would be smooth. I filleted this edge. And lastly, this was my last fillet over here to make sure that everything in itself was smooth. From there, I wanted to shell the actual brace to make sure that we can turn it from this 3D intrusion to something that was able to be shelled. So as you can see the different faces, I shelled it by 0.10 inches. And from here, I made sure to add a cut extrude. So this was the shell, as you can see, leaving this little back plate, which would be an issue moving forward. Uh, but then I created a little box for the Velcro strap, the dimensions of 0.25 inches by 1.40. And I made sure to extrude cut through all so they could be on this side as well. Okay, let's make sure to turn this face back around. Okay. Then I continue to fillet the inside by zero point 0.5 and just did it to both sides and under as well. Because you want to make sure that the actual brace is smooth around to just adjust for different terrain. From there, I made an extrude cut to try and split up the brace from here. Uh, but because of limitations, I could not get that back portion. So I made another extrude cut from the back. There we go. And that was going up. From there, I continued to fillet this back edge here. because this was originally part of our original design. However, later we accounted for the fact that a shoe kind of rub into this and it wouldn't be good uh, because it just come into contact as there's various different shoe backs. So we wanted to get rid of that. Um, so the fillet here also doesn't really uh, matter much. But you can still fillet it either way. So then we added another extrude cut, and that was down here. And that was simply to get both sides of this shorter, right? So you can add a box with these dimensions and extrude cut as I did, because wanted the width of the both sides of the brace to be small so they can kind of cuff the shoe, not necessarily engulf it. And I made another extrude cut right there, these dimensions. However, that left me with the issue of the back portion, as you can see there, just protruding out. So I made sure to try and extrude cut that part as well, through all. From there, I decided to make a sketch, and that sketch would be right here because we needed to attach the slider mechanism on the back of the plate to it somehow. So I needed a flat surface, and I felt like it'd be best to attach it on the outside. Uh, yeah. Although it was meant to be attached on the outside, and we ended up going with a different design later on, it still helped overall, uh, including in future designs, which we might drill into instead of using glue. But we extruded both sides, extruded by, where is it, 0.24 inches. And it started from the base of the plate. So as you can see, it goes along this line. And same on the other side. And from here, I filleted the, let me click into this. I originally filleted these edges. However, we can skip these fillets because they were not originally, or they did not end up in the original design. Was something that did end up on the original design was the inclusion of this curvature here. And that was to adjust for ankles. Anything protruding out from the foot was to be accounted for, including the actual or lower calf to shin portion itself, depending on what would be sticking out. We wanted it not to be the sharp edge, but to be something that can be around your foot. So I made a plane there, plane one. And as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to make sure that everything would just flow well. So I filleted this little loop here, um, the radius of 0.1. And I did that to both sides. So the Velcro here would go smoothly. And this fillet was to the back, making sure that this was also as smooth. Overall, trying to round out all my edges, making sure that everything was smooth and not rigid. So I created another plane here as because this design was still straight. So this was the beginning of the curvature of the brace. So this was straight, as you can see here. Uh, so I made sure, oh, I apologize. This was the filleting of this little edge here, this loop. So I clicked on these edges, plane three. This was the start of the curvature here. Uh, so I made a plane there. And I made a sketch here. I made a radius of 0.38, 3.18, and I just extruded downwards. And let's look at that extrusion next. I made that 4.5 inches deep, so it didn't mess up with this curvature here at the bottom of the brace. From there, I cut extruded uh, through this. I wanted to make sure that it was open, um, the inside of the brace, so it wouldn't mess with the ankle. However, it still left that outside portion as such. It did, however, make a tiny hole, but it makes the inside of the brace more breathable, I believe. And I just decided to fillet that edge, making sure, again, everything wasn't rigid, that it'd be curved. From here, I created different planes, trying to make sure that I could, where's plane 5? Uh, I could do it and make sure it was curved. Yeah, so it was just the same to both sides. However, you only really need to do one side because we're going to actually remove one of the uh, sides of the braces and just mirror it. Because from this, we did run into some design issues or technical difficulties, let's say. So it was this back plate here. We wanted to account for the shoes, as mentioned earlier. So the whole goal was just to remove this. We created a plane uh, off of those references, and my goal was just to tackle this and try to remove it to the best I could. So plane 6. As you can see, I did both sides, cut extruding it through all. Let's take a look into this. Cut extrude 13. Yeah, so it was making sure I extruded that, creating the plane here, cut extruding it as well, and making various planes so I could cut as much of that back piecing out as I could from the bottom up, right? And I believe I cut extruded next. What's that? Plane 8 times. Yes, it was a cut extrude. From there, just making various planes. Plane 9 over here. Trying to make sure I can cut out this little curvature as well. And it was a continuation of just creating planes and cut extruding. As you can see here, it was through all from plane 7. And this one as well. This was through all from this back plane I created. I believe that was plane 10. Yes, it was plane 10. I extruded through all. And finally, this last little extrusion was that last backing. I created this shape here. It doesn't matter what shape you create. If you want to know the dimensions, oh yeah, it just was to draw a shape here to cut this little part out. See if I can, yeah, just to cut this part, this triangular part out. And it's 0.29 inches. Does yeah, and that was just as thick as this piece back here. And then I filleted it to make sure that it was smooth and it wouldn't be poking out, poking anyone. So I filleted that edge. Um, then I made another plane because I was trying to protrude this outwards and make sure that this was covered. However, that didn't work. Uh, so the plane light stayed. I believe this was the last extrusion bit. I extruded the whole right side of the brace as because I mentioned earlier, we're going to just mirror about a plane. So yeah, you wanted to cut that out. And then these two planes don't really matter, although a sketch was made to make these center lines here in the middle, but we mirrored it, I believe, about this axis, this plane 14 here. As you can see, we made it over the center line there, uh, and the reference was line 3. And lastly, we mirrored it about that plane 14, as mentioned earlier. Uh, and yeah, that was the creation of the lower brace. Thank you.